Fortnite OG has now gone through 8 seasons of Chapter 1, and despite each season having their own set of quirks, Season 8 has been the season I've been the most conflicted about. This season somehow manages to be both the best season of Fortnite OG, while also being the worst at the same time. And I also think that this season highlights a lot of the very questionable ways that OG has been handled for the past few seasons. So let's talk about Fortnite OG Season 8. The good, the bad, and what this means for the future of OG. Yeah, this is an OG season review, buckle in. Look, I'm gonna be completely honest here. A lot of the good from this season just comes from the fact that it's Chapter 1 Season 8. You know, Chapter 1 Season 8, easily the best season of Chapter 1, and I will hear no differing opinions. And for the start of the season, yeah, Epic actually did a pretty good job here. Most of the things they did to recreate Season 8 did actually function. And trust me, being a passable recreation of a season is a really good standard for OG at this point. But Epic checked all the boxes here. We got the volcano, the flint knock, and even smaller things like reboot vans being changed to be more accurate to how they worked in Season 8, when reboot vans were actually introduced. I think the most surprising thing they did for Season 8 was bringing back Siphon. For the people who don't know, at the end of Season 7, and for most of Season 8, Epic actually added Siphon to the game, and for the launch of OG Season 8, Siphon was actually added, giving 50 health back on every kill. And trust me, it is very shocking to see Epic actually do something like this, but you know what, I'll take it. And even with things like the B-Sides update later into the season, adding back the rest of the items, and then the unvaulting event towards like a week ago at this point, these were pretty good things, but mainly just because these were fine recreations of things from Season 8. The best way I can describe the gameplay this season is that the thing that Epic is trying to recreate is good. So an acceptable recreation of that thing I like is still going to be fun because it's an alright remake of the thing I like. However, when you take this as trying to be a one-to-one remake of Chapter 1 Season 8, this just isn't that good. Look, I want to describe issues that were exclusive to OG Season 8, but every OG season has just been following a cycle at this point. The season launches in an acceptable state, a few things get hotfixed, a lot of bugs get introduced via updates, a B-Sides update then randomly drops adding back the rest of the items, and then the next season starts and the cycle repeats. It's honestly just a tiring cycle to the point where I can't really say anything unique about OG itself. That isn't an issue with the original season, or an issue that's been in other OG seasons. So I'm just gonna retread old ground and talk about issues that were in other seasons, but really dragged down OG Season 8. Starting off, okay man, I need to talk about the marketing at this point, because how come OG barely gets any promotion? Take the season launch for example, and how it was the exact same as Season 7's launch. We got a one-off teaser as a short or something, and then we got the infographic, and then the season just launched with little promotion. And this honestly terrible promotion strategy has carried over into the unvaulting event, where the only promotion was a few YouTube shorts and a post on the Fortnite newsfeed. Not even in every game mode, you would have to go into OG first and then check the newsfeed just to know a live event was happening. There wasn't even a big tweet telling you when the event was until 5 minutes before the event. And there wasn't a countdown until a day before the event. Literally, all Epic would need to do to let people know about the unvaulting event. A major moment in Chapter 1 is just copy and paste the newsfeed post into Twitter, and that's it. People don't check the newsfeed to get information. People mostly get information from Fortnite's official social media. And if that wasn't bad enough, after the event happened, the Infinity Blade ended up returning. And why does it just spawn in chests now? Yeah, so they decided to just completely remove the cool thing, you know, the entire thing of the Infinity Blade where it always spawns at Polar Peak. Yeah, no, it just spawns out of supply drops now. And of course, once again, Epic put this in the newsfeed instead of just making a simple Twitter post. I know actual people who missed out on the event because they just had no clue it was happening. That is not a good way to market your game, Epic. Because of this marketing, the Unvaulting event only got around 400,000 players, which isn't bad, but it could have gotten way more if Epic actually tried to market a major moment from Chapter 1. And the thing is that we've seen what can happen when Epic actually markets OG well, because the OG Rocket event, which is probably the only well-marketed OG event, was just a 2-minute rocket launch, but it managed to get over 1 million players. And the same applies to actual OG seasons when they're given proper trailers and proper key art and actual promotion. And would you believe it, when you actually try and promote a mode, it does pretty well. OG Season 6 was easily the worst state OG has ever been in. When you get to the point of having no lobby background, replacing important features from Chapter 1 Season 6 with Nitro, and the first mention of OG Season 6 from Epic being because how bad of a state the season launched in, yeah, I think this season was pretty bad. And I think having this bad of a season made us look at OG at a different way. Epic can give us the bare minimum for OG, with seasons that launch still without an actual key art or no trailers, and still in a state with several bugs. But you know what? At this point, at least it's better than Season 6. The fact that this season is one of the better states OG has been in really shows that OG has not been handled that good. I mean, sure, we are in a good state now, most of the weapons work, the grass is right, the visuals kind of work, but I mean, this is only one of the better states OG has been in, because Epic has neglected this mode for a while now. I mean, Epic couldn't even get the grass right for 2 seasons. Epic still hasn't gotten the lighting right, we still have skill-based matchmaking and bots everywhere, and as much better of a state OG is in than it was before, this still isn't OG. This mode still is not a good remake of Fortnite Chapter 1. Sure, I'm playing on the Chapter 1 map, and sure, I'm playing with Chapter 1 weapons, but that's not the same as playing Chapter 1. I'm still spending most of my games fighting off bots because people didn't like the gameplay of fighting real players, which you know was the whole thing that made Chapter 1's gameplay so good. And I'm still using half-baked versions of things from Chapter 1. For example, the Infinity Blade was added back via the Unvaulting event. But why should I care when this isn't the Infinity Blade from Chapter 1? This is a half-baked version of the Infinity Blade, and I do not want to use this. I'm just sick of playing this half-baked version of Chapter 1. When Epic, you made Chapter 1. You have the source for Chapter 1. You have a better source than anyone else. So how come other people can remake Chapter 1 better than Epic themselves? It shouldn't be other people's jobs to make giant threads of things that Epic themselves got wrong. Because Epic has the source to make these things right. So how hard can it possibly be to just redo something you've already done before? At this point, I have almost no hope for OG Season 9 or Season X. Or Chapter 2 if we even go there, but at this point, Epic might just put OG on autopilot after Season X, and I wouldn't be surprised. OG Season 9 will probably be the same as any other OG season, where we get the same bare minimum treatment. Sure, it'll be cool to go back to Neo Tilted and play with Season 9 stuff, but I just don't care anymore. And this is coming from somebody who likes the later half of Chapter 1. It's probably one of my favorite eras of Fortnite, but I just can't be bothered to be that excited for a half-baked recreation that could be good if Epic just put more effort into it. But whatever happens, Epic, please just bring back the overpowered combat shotgun. It'd be so funny, please.